this candle. You all may not know this, but you are on the frontier with us here at Mercersburg, and we're so glad to have you join us, although we'd much rather be in person and look forward to that happening sooner than later. It's our first virtual networking event. So you may not have even known how brave you are for joining us this afternoon. Welcome, alumni, parents, and friends of Mercersburg. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tim Crouch on our Advancement and Alumni Relations team. This afternoon, we'll hear from two distinguished alumni, Nikki Adler Frigoletto and Pablo Kobayashi, about their careers and have the opportunity to ask them a few questions. And then we'll get to know one another on the call in breakout rooms for networking sessions. First, a couple of housekeeping items. And if you're not a Zoom native, good for you. We'll cover these things real quick. Please remain muted during our introductions here. And if you could change your profile name to your name and your business name by hovering over your picture and clicking the three dots to select rename. That can really help us. And we will be recording this session, which is good to know. But for those of you who would like to participate in the breakout rooms, I would strongly recommend, if you're able, to turn on your cameras to get the most out of that opportunity. So without any further ado, I'd love to introduce Nikki.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks for the handoff. I'm really excited to be here. I had no idea that we were at the vanguard of this Zoom networking for the Berg. I guess that's exciting. My name is Nikki Adler Frigoletto. I'm from the class of '95. Did not get to do our 25th reunion last year, at least in person, but hopefully we'll all be able to do that soon. I am the Director of Planning at Rivers Edge Wealth Partners. It's a company that my husband and I started in Red Bank, New Jersey. We're in the personal wealth management business. I live in Colts Neck, New Jersey, which is, for those of you who aren't familiar, sort of the northern end of the New Jersey shore. We live with our blended family of 4 kids, ranging in age from 2 years old to 24 years old. So they keep us on our toes, along with our aggressively loving golden doodle named Louie. So over the last 25 years, I left Mercersburg and went on to Bucknell University to study economics. I worked after college in community organizing for a little bit, which was a great sort of introduction to me to how to become more involved in my community very directly, which has definitely informed how I have approached being a business owner in a very close-knit community now. But soon after, I entered into the wealth management industry, and I worked, mostly in the capacity of personal financial planning, wealth planning, but for a couple of different ways. For a large family office, working with some billionaire clients, working for boutique wealth management firms, and most recently, before we formed our company, working for a large private bank. So I've worked in a couple of different capacities within this industry, which has been, good experience. And 20 years later now, as a business owner, it's been nice when you work for yourself. I think you have to switch gears after you spend a long time in the corporate world. Realizing you're not sort of on a corporate ladder anymore. There's not necessarily a defined path for you. But it's been nice for my husband and I to really think about what's important to us as business owners and as a part of the community that we work in. Beyond the services that we offer clients and prospective clients, we have placed, I think, most importance on diversity and inclusion in our staff and then also our clients, representation of clients that are typically overlooked in the wealth management industry. And then, back to kind of my roots, community service and really direct service to the community that we work in is also, I would say, top tier goal for us as business owners in this town. So, knowing that I was going to be talking with everyone today, I kind of reflected back on my time at Mercersburg, and I guess I'll leave it at, I knew it was an exceptional place when I was there, but it's funny how a couple of decades will kind of make you understand how foundational certain experiences in your youth are. And I would definitely consider Mercersburg as a foundational experience, not just for my professional path, but also my path as a person who believes in growth and self-awareness.
Well, thank you, Nikki. That's
right, Tim?
That's awesome. We talked before we joined here about whether or not I was just going to read a bio or allow Nikki and Pablo to introduce themselves, and I'm so glad that I got out of the way there. Pablo, please tell us about you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. Well, before I get started, I want to thank you, Tim, and Jen, and really the school for inviting me to be part of this networking event. I'm very excited to be here this morning and to see some familiar faces and names. I was surprised by some of these names when I saw the list of attendance. I can see the Bergens are here and a series of other people that I'm dear to. So thank you for the invitation. Yes, so I graduated from, I'm Pablo Kobayashi, and I graduated from Mercersburg in 1991. And Mercersburg to me was one of the most valuable experiences in my life that certainly served as the foundation for, I think, the majority of the things that I've pursued to do in life and professionally. So I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to go to Mercersburg and to have had the experience that I had there. But I started, so I live in Mexico City. I am been married to Palmira, my wife, for more than 14 years now. We have 3 wonderful kids. Sophia, who's our youngest, she's about to turn 4. Constanza, Geronimo, who's 9, and Constanza, who's about to turn 13. Hopefully soon to be Mercersburg student. And so that, that's where I'm from. But before, heading back to Mexico, I spent quite a big part of my life in the United States. After Mercersburg, I went off to Vanderbilt University to pursue a degree in mechanical engineering and management of technology. And after doing that at Vanderbilt, I went off to start my professional career in consulting. And I worked for a few years for Braxton Associates, which was a top tier consulting firm that was later on acquired by Deloitte Consulting. And while at Braxton, I had the opportunity to travel around the world and consult businesses in a variety of industries in of course, the United States, Europe, but also a series of emerging markets, especially in Latin America. And then, so I did spend some time in Brazil, spent some time in Argentina, had a chance to spend some time in Mexico as well. And it was a wonderful experience to have as a first job out of college. So after doing that for some time, I went off. I went back to school. I went to business school, and I graduated from its MBA program from the Kellogg School of Management. And after business school, I decided to pursue a career in private equity. So I did the drill, moved to New York City, and got to experience private equity, and really learned about the basics of the industry. But I also had to manage. I also had the opportunity to manage quite a large portfolio of private equity investments around the world, in Eastern Europe, obviously the United States, but primarily in Latin America. And I got a chance to participate in the management of companies in, pretty much every major Latin American economy, including countries like Argentina, Brazil, even Bolivia, and of course Mexico, among others. And that was a great experience for me. But since I left home when I was 14 before going off to Mercersburg, really my mission as a very young or as a teenager was to go to Mercersburg to really get acquainted with new experiences, and sort of ultimately be able to come back to Mexico and contribute to the growth of the Mexican economy. So after being in New York for some time, I decided to move back to Mexico and do that. And I founded PC Capital. And I started PC Capital from scratch, recruited a series of partners to do that. And we've become one of the largest and most distinguished investment firms in Mexico. And what we do is private equity, which some of you know very well what that is, but we basically buy businesses, we grow them, and then we sell them. But the underlying investment thesis that we have here is that these have to be businesses that not only do very well, but also have a strong social impact. So we're looking at backing businesses that generate generous profits, but also contribute to the community. And we deal with some of the largest investors in the world, some of them US based, but not all of them. We have a lot of international investors. We have family offices, and then we have large multilateral investors like the World Bank, for example. So those are the institutions that provide us with the capital that we invest today throughout Latin America, and now the United States, as well as some other emerging markets.
Thank you, Pablo, and thank you again, Nikki and Pablo for being here, and my colleague Jen Bradley, of course, for being here, and Denise, who is the Wizard of Oz, Denise Bennett behind the scenes. Really quickly, I'll ask the two of you one quick question before we start our breakout rooms. And I think this will be a good primer. Many of you have a lot of experience in these settings, and some maybe not as much. So this could be a useful place to start. Pablo, I'll ask you first, and we'll try to do this as quickly as possible. Do you have any networking do's and don'ts in all of your years of being in rooms like this? And then I'll ask you the same question, Nikki.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of do's and not a whole lot of don'ts. But the top do is do. Do whatever you want. And the top don't is don't be shy. So I think there aren't any rules in networking. I think networking events, people are usually timid, if you will. We as human beings are most of us are introverts. That includes me. Believe it or not. So I think the do's is feel free to ask whatever you want in general and introduce yourself. I think that would be the big do.
Wonderful. Thanks, Pablo. Nikki?
I would definitely say that I tend towards the introverted. And so it does seem sometimes intimidating to network, but I would just say, a smile and a hello go really long way. And I've never met anyone in a networking event that, wouldn't talk to me when I smiled and said hello. I mean, the big don't that I would say is, you know, don't say that you're going to follow up if you're not going to. If you say you're going to follow up, then you should. I think that goes a long way also when you're meeting new people and you're reaching out to connect to people.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Well, just a few more housekeeping items about how our breakout rooms are going to work. Denise has assigned you to your first room. And again, if you can, if you're in a place where it feels comfortable, just unmute so that the conversation is easy, and turn on your video. After 10 minutes, you'll be prompted to select a new room. And to do so, click on breakout room at the bottom of your screen and select a room. If you don't see the rooms, return to the main room to be assigned to a new room. And our guide, Denise Bennett, will make sure you land in a good place. We promise that. So myself, Jen, Nikki, and Pablo will be in these rooms to call on folks and get that conversation started. So we're not just sitting there and waiting. So without any more delay, I know we couldn't be more thrilled to get to interact with as many people as possible in this format. Thank you again, Nikki and Pablo, for teeing this up for us. I will thank everyone for your trust on the frontier and walking through a model that we haven't used before, and hopefully it won't be our main go-to, but we can use in some form in the future as an effective way of connecting folks across distance. We told Pablo and Nikki that we would hit them with some Mercersburg rapid fire questions to close out our session, which I think could be a lot of fun. So we'll do this quickly. We'll do this quickly, and I don't think there are going to be too many brain teasers in here. But thank you again for anyone who has to jump off and is at work and has some sensitive time constraints. We're really grateful for you all being here. I would like to mention that Nikki and Pablo are both lead volunteers for us. Nikki with her reunion that wasn't in person, but still doing really, really important and critical work for the school. And Pablo as a reunion volunteer, but also as a member of our Board of Regents. And Sasan, if he's still with us, is a board member as well. And I don't think I'm missing anyone else. But wanted to mention that really quickly. Okay, Mercersburg lightning round. Favorite Mercersburg tradition? Nikki, go.
Step songs.
Nice. Pablo?
Going to Romeo's.
Cheesesteak, please.
Exactly, with onions.
Okay, Pablo, I'll start with you now. Mercersburg faculty member you remember fondly?
Mr. Malone.
Great. Nikki?
Physics.
Well, if Rick Hendrickson is on, I have to say him. But if he's not on, then I'll say George.
I missed it. Nikki, Irving or Marshall?
Marshall.
Pablo,
Irving.
Irving or Marshall?
Irving.
Oh.
Ooh.
Favorite spot on campus? Pablo?
That would be the fields across the chapel.
Okay, I don't think that Boone Hall is there anymore, right? But in the basement, there was a stinky, closed off, dank, dark room that I spent a lot of time in.
Favorite, huh?
Loved it.
It was a photography lab.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. It was awesome. It was awesome. I loved it.
All right. Favorite Mercersburg extracurricular or co-curricular activity? What we would call, our students on the call would call performance group activities.
Well, I don't know if this counts, but I did do one of my physical education credits working on the farm, and I fed the pig. It was awesome. I loved it. I love that pig.
Nice. Awesome. Pablo.
I didn't do anything performing arts, but I did enjoy the Spanish club quite a bit. And, athletics, being on the teams, football, wrestling, that was a lot of fun. Tennis, golf, a lot of fun.
All right, Pablo, this may have been after your time. Pretzel pie or chocolate chip cookie pie?
I think we had, and Pablo Reyes, didn't we have the pretzel pie?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I think that was, wow, stellar.
I didn't know it went back that far. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
Definitely.
we
pretzel
had it.
pie.
It was
Pretzel
delicious.
pie. Yeah.
Okay, the last of the lightning round here. Nikki, what's on your nightstand right now? Book.
Oh, I have a book. It's called A Short Ride Through the Jungle. It's about a woman who rides solo on a motorcycle across the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
Whoa, very cool.
Yeah.
Pablo, what's on your nightstand?
Oh, it's a book called Wake Up Happy, and it was written by Michael Strahan, and he's a former football player, but I'm really enjoying it. Key to success, being happy.
Yeah. Now more than ever, I'm sure. Well, we couldn't be more grateful to connect with so many of you today and chart this new territory, and appreciate Nikki and Pablo leading the charge in all the ways that you support Mercersburg Academy, but generously giving of your time to facilitate this session. Jen reminded me that I need to plug our real estate event that's coming up, which I was in a few breakout rooms with folks that if they're not registered for that, they should be. Anything to add there, Jen, that I'm missing? I think we've just enjoyed this time so much.
I think I'm going to put in the chat the registration link for the real estate event. And then I think Denise also, if anyone's interested in connecting with each other post this event, she's going to share an opportunity for you to provide your information so that you can have access to each other's information. Is that right, Denise?
Yes, that's correct. I just put it in the chat. It's a Google form. Please fill it out.
Okay, so the real estate networking lunch is on May, no,
25th.
25th.
25th. Yeah, May 25th. And all of our events you can find information on at mercersburg.edu/events, but specifically the real estate.
And we will share the networking directory as a follow-up to this event. Correct, Denise?
As well, yes, it's in the chat, but I will also share it with you in a follow-up email.
Super.
Yep.
Well, we hope to see you again, virtually and in person, sometime very, very soon. Thank you very much. And if you want to give us some feedback about how this could have gone better or suggestions, we are all ears. That's how we get better.
I have one last thing to add, if that's all right. And in addition to thanking Nikki and Pablo for doing this, we have a Mercersburg alumni and parent LinkedIn group, networking group. So if you're on LinkedIn, please join that if you're not already part of the group. There's a lot of great posting that's happening there, job sharing, connections, internships. I would also like to encourage everyone to put Mercersburg Academy in your LinkedIn profile. That way, when we search LinkedIn, we can find you on LinkedIn and we can make connections. I know not everyone always thinks about updating us with their latest and greatest endeavors, and LinkedIn is a more natural place to put those things. So we use it a lot as a networking tool. So please think about putting Mercersburg Academy in your profile. Please think about joining the LinkedIn group to continue to network. There are about close to 1,600 members in that group right now. And there's daily posts on jobs and internships and celebrations of what people are doing. So
What's the name of the group again, Jen?
I will throw it in the chat. It's the Mercersburg Academy Alumni and Parent Networking Group. And It's a private group that actually was started by an Mercersburg alum several years ago, Chip Nuttall, class of 1992. And we've grown it, and we just actually changed the name to Add Parents, because parents are an important part of our community and also are eager to network. So check it out.
If your company bio doesn't have your Mercersburg education, seriously consider adding that too. Thank you all. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Tim.
Bye.
Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
thanks, everyone. Be well.